This episode is brought to you by yours truly, Matt Norton of Remax Bell Park. For all of your real estate needs, call me 860 428 6534. Your dreams are my job. Welcome to the Community Workbench. This is Matt Norton and Kyle Morrissey. We are your hosts of the #1 podcast in my basement. At the bench, we try to repair the sense of community. So every week, we bring you small businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week, we feel like talking to Adam Roy, owner of Roy's Cards. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming to the bench. This is kind of a peculiar thing. You deal with all sports cards?
Well, it's really just collectibles in general.
Okay.
Mostly, it just started with me and my love of sports, and what it came of. And as I've gotten more into it, it mainly was just selling sports cards, and then starting with the shows and learning the Pokemon community is definitely alive and well.
Oh, wow.
And then you have the newer trading, or the older trading card games like Magic, and you have newer ones called One Piece. There's all sorts of, they're derived from anime and other places, but there's
So you're even more than just sports.
well, for me, I guess I claim to be the sports guy, but I try to, as far as the shows go, I like to bring in a bunch of people with backgrounds and other things, just to have a variety for the people that would come by.
Yeah. So 100% collectible cards.
Collectibles,
All are welcome.
memorabilia, comic books,
Oh, wow.
magazines,
Nice.
y-
Nice.
everything.
So what started this? Did you collect baseball cards as a kid, kind of thing?
Well, I think for most of us that are they're involved in it these days, it all started when we were kids, and there's some of us that, like myself, where you have like a FOMO, where I know I had binders as a kid, and through moving a bunch of times, and just for whatever, and not losing interest when I'm younger because of other things, and you get tossed away, and you have all these thoughts and maybe some nightmares of things you might have thrown away in the past, but it just, as he got older and you're playing sports, and then when the days of playing sports were over, and it's just, and wanting to get into things like coaching and being involved, and just work schedule not really being sort of conducive to coaching, so I was just finding the way to keep on my love of sports, and it led me to the business of cards.
Okay. So now, so you collect when you're a kid. You buy them in the little packs that came with a stick of gum, that kind of thing, right?
Depends on how
Or
old of a kid you
am
were.
I crazy? So maybe I'm too old for
Oh
that.
well, no, it just depends on the depends on the cars. But yeah, some of them, I have some of my vendors where they specialize in older, we call them vintage type cards, where they part of their appeal is they have sealed packs still for purchase, and that you're to like your '86 Fleer, you're looking for the Michael Jordan, and you might have a vendor who's selling a sealed pack of that.
Wow.
You're potentially looking at a Michael Jordan rookie card. So
Okay.
this is all about having the chance. It's the gamble.
Yeah.
It's the appeal.
So you would buy a package that has never been opened. And
Yeah.
the idea that, and you would pay more for that than you would.
It would
like a
depend on the actual pack, but for example, you have something where 1964 tops, where if somebody had a sealed pack of that, you could buy that for a chance of getting a card like the Bob Gibson in that pack. Where for the higher value packs, say for example the 96, 97 tops, the Kobe Bryant rookie, where you're talking 4-figure cards if you're getting them graded. So if somebody had a pack of the 96, 97 tops still sealed, the chance of getting a pack pulled Kobe Bryant increases the value of that pack significantly.
Wow. So they even kept them as a gamble that there might be something good in there.
There's still
Price
many in circulation. You can go through eBay for hours, and people that have held on from childhood sealed boxes of '86 Fleer just sitting in their basement. And there's a lot of people that just have no idea sometimes what they're sitting on. And a perfect example is most recently with one of the grading companies, CGC. They do a lot of grading of mainly collectibles. Their thing was coins mostly first, and that kind of developed into cards.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I don't know how recent. Maybe it was a few months ago. We're in California. There was a family that were cleaning out their mother's attic after she had passed, and they had found an old Superman magazine or comic rather.
Oh my goodness.
Can't misspeak there.
No,
But
yeah,
but
Superman.
yeah. So
This can
they
be a
thought
heck of a
nothing of
story.
it, and it was really to do with the conditions of the area of California where they lived in that happened to preserve this magazine in a way where it's an original copy of the original
Oh
Superman,
my God.
and it got graded by CGC and ended up being $9.2 million
Yeah. Dang.
for a magazine.
That's awesome.
So
That's wild.
don't throw away your stuff.
Right?
Don't ever throw away your stuff.
Yeah. So now, when you must have, do you have a number on how many cards you have in your collection?
Well, me personally, I mean, I'm able like the sort of the business model is to move things quickly. So
Okay.
you have your lower, I guess, lower value things, or your cards that are more like set fillers for people who their hobby is just building particular sets where I have a couple thousand cards that are only worth $1,
Okay.
but to
But it
other
might be
people,
part of a set that somebody is trying to complete.
so that's the beauty of collecting is that
Yeah.
no, like I'm not to judge what you collect. It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
So I list the things on eBay,
Mhm.
and they just pick them up that way usually. And I have only like 3,500 listings on eBay, which sounds like a lot.
That does sound
But
like
in
a lot.
comparison, it's really not. One of my vendors who pretty much does this for a listing. Shout out to Chris here. He has about 50,000 listings on his eBay.
Wow. So he does it as like a living.
It's a full time
Yeah.
job for
Wow.
him. Yeah.
That's wow.
So 50,000 listings. And the only way to really do that is using your typical feed scanners that you would have for paper. And you could use the margins on the scanner, and you can hook them up to your computer, and you can literally just scan the cards like you would paper.
Oh, okay.
And you can adjust the settings, like your DPI settings and other things, to either the speed of them. So I can probably, with the power of AI, you just take the cards that are scanned from the computer, throw them into eBay, and the AI picks up the scanned photo and creates the listing for you. So
Gotcha.
I can basically list 100 cards an hour.
Wow.
So there's just a buying and selling, and you buy in bulk and you sell in bulk.
Okay. So when you buy in bulk, is there like a wholesaler somewhere? Is that like a thing, or is this like?
There's so many places. That's the wonderful part of it is that there's hundreds of Facebook groups where you could. There's a lot of security that risk that you have when you're out in the open market like that. But with eBay, there's more security. But you can buy pretty much anywhere. But I feel like the best way for me personally is to buy in bulk on eBay. Is that you have people that they call them like lots, like a bundle of cards. They call it a lot of cards. Where if somebody's selling 100 cards and you try to get it for a reasonable price, you can sell just about anything for $1 on eBay. Where if you're trying to get a bigger bundle of cards, you get them for 40, 50 cents a card. You in turn list them on your own for $1.50.
So now, when it's a lot, like what you're talking about, what you would buy, do you see all the cards, or is it just a like literally a picture of a bundle?
It depends
of cards?
depends on the quality of listing. Really, a lot of eBay sellers, you have consigners who are like they do it as a living, where they have people that will send their cards to them, and they'll sell cards for them, and they're just listing them all day. So the consigners, their motive is just to sell.
And they're working on a percentage of it.
with whoever's giving them the cards.
Right.
But for them, they're just trying to sell them, and most of the time they're ran at auction, and whatever they sell, that's what they sell at. It just is what it is. You're paying for the exposure, I guess.
Gotcha.
Where the listings, most of the time you're not going to see every card, and you're just going to have to sort of look at what the good listings will tell you the highlights of that. So if it's like 50 cards, they'll be like, there's guaranteed you're going to get this, and that in that group. And you just like judge the value of those, and then take a gamble. And it's like, all right, well, I can sell the ones that are valuable, and the other ones will residually go over time.
And is it probable that they might have missed a highlight
All the time.
all the time? Okay.
All the
So,
time.
wow.
Yeah. So that's part of the fun of it. So there's a lot of people that have collections that they have had in their basement for ages, and that they may have gotten a little bit older and they don't have the ability or the time, or they don't care about it as much anymore. They're just wanting to see what they can get for it.
Yeah.
And they don't, I don't know what's here, it's been here, whatever, blah blah blah. You go over, you try to. That's where Facebook comes in. It's pretty big, where you can just meet people in person. You can literally go to their house and go through the collections and just make an offer
Wow.
on you. To go through 10,000 cards quickly, you sort of have to know what you're looking for ahead of time.
Yeah.
So you sort of fan through and just, you make an offer and you just try to flip it online usually.
Gotcha. Okay.
But people miss things all the time. Error cards are a big thing.
What's era of cards?
Error cards, like mistakes.
Oh, cards that were misprinted.
Yeah. So as far as examples, there's so many of them, but they're, whether it's the wrong. I actually should have brought one. There's an example for. I don't know, you're a baseball fan at all?
A little bit.
So
Not
there's
really.
a player is Carlos Beltran. Who's a potential as a
I've heard
Hall
the
of
name.
Famer.
Yeah.
He's a great baseball player. His rookie card is a picture of somebody else.
Oh, wow.
It's not even him.
And you have this card?
I have a few of them.
Oh, wow.
So is in a lot of the value is all dependent on more so the quality of the card rather than the card itself. They're
Okay.
combined, but the quality is what makes the value.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, that's a guy named Juan LeBron. That's not even Carlos Beltran. So it's one of those things where they print these in mass quantities and then they find the errors and they make the corrections, but the errors are still in circulation.
Right. Wow.
So if you happen to have some of those, and
Now, what would make a collection if you had like both the card that had the era and what they fixed it? If you had both of those, would that make more or?
well, not necessarily, but a collection is really whatever you want it to be. There are certain people that they collect, whether it's cards of certain teams or certain players or
Okay, yeah.
certain parallels or variations of cards where you have.
And feel free to show it to your
All right,
camera.
cool. Yeah, so you have the serial number cards. So a lot of the issues from back in the late 80s, it's referred to as like the junk era of cards. You may have heard the term before, where it's just a mass overprinting of everything, and where history repeats itself. We're kind of going through the same thing now, where just the mass overprinting, where you're sort of devaluing everything because you're printing
there's
so
too many
much of
in
it.
circulation.
The example that you guys were talking about a couple of days ago about the one of ones on your commercial,
Yeah.
where so an easy example of that is, so you have Topps Finest, which is a line of cards, and then you have Bowman Chrome, and then you have Bowman Chrome Sapphire, and then you have Bowman's Best. So like each individual set can have a one of every player, right? So you have now, like 2024, one of the big names would be Paul Skeens, is a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he has a one of one in basically every single set of his rookie year. They're basically creating new products just to give him more one of ones because they see the value. Where you're talking, you have a one of one Paul Skeens, you're paying off your house rather than paying your mortgage. You know, they're talking tens of thousands of dollars for these cards. So, but if you have a one of him and you have one and I have one, you kind of don't really have any.
So you got to have the set.
It's just to speak of like the overpopulation of
Yeah.
the printing of the cards. So, and then when it comes to the actual serial numbers, in most times they're more valuable than actual autographs, because you could have a guy that just sits there and signs thousands of cards, and there's thousands of regular autographs.
Yeah.
But for the example of these, this is serial numbered out of 50. There's only 50 of these.
Okay.
So, and then it being graded into 10, there's even less of those.
And grading happens after circulation.
Grading happens basically from, it could be from the moment you acquire the card, however you do.
But it's somebody bought it and then they send it to a grading company. That's how that works.
So yeah, so you would initially pull something from the pack. It would just come out like this. They would call it raw. It's in its raw form, and then you'd have a dealer or someone like me. You would have to take out the card, inspect it, and you'd have to see if there are any imperfections. And you're talking just something as minor as a tiny little
Like
indentation
yeah, yeah.
under magnifying glass. It's still going to be a negative demarcation to the card, and it's just going to ruin the value of it. But
And you do these inspections.
so um,
It's part of your
I am
services.
I'm a dealer for CGC, which is another grading company. There's a sort of a hierarchy of grading, which is given a lot of scandal these days. But this is I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for promoting this, but this is PSA. PSA is basically at this point currently still the gold standard of grading, whereas this card is and it really, there's nothing that kind of made it happen this way. It just sort of happened in a sense where the people see this label and they just assume that it's the best because it's kind of like one of the original
Yeah, they've been
companies.
around the longest or whatever.
But when you really look at some of these cards, and there's a wonderful website to look at, it's called gemrate.com, where it shows you the statistics of each of these companies and how many cards they're grading per week. And this company grades like a couple 100,000 cards a week.
Wow.
So, and it's all just people, and they're just their personal opinions of the cards. But you're having this influx where everybody wants to send
To get
them
graded, to get that stamp.
because when they have a 10 from PSA, it is the gold standard of the value of that card. In the market's eyes, it can't get any more valuable than that. But for people who really dig into it, like when you're talking, the element of human error is very prevalent because they're grading so many cards. So people are looking for options. You're waiting sometimes 4.5 months
Wow.
to get this back, whereas
Because it's a backlog. That person has to go through every card.
well, they hire companies, and a lot of the scandal that's been going on with that lately is they're sort of monopolizing the market, and some of the smaller companies, they're just buying them out, and it's really just buying them for resources because they don't have enough people to physically grade all these cards, which created a backlog.
Yeah.
So people, collectors, and people that are looking into the buying and the reselling, you can't wait 4.5 months for your
Yeah.
card to come back. You bet on a rookie like this, and you wait till the middle of the season. Say I bought it in 22 and graded it in 22, and it took 4 months, and he's a dud, and I just waited 4 months and something I knew I was going to lose money on.
Oh, so he was like he didn't make rookie of the year kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it will,
It's like,
because a lot of the strategies, they bet on prospects. They want to get something cheap early, and then when
Yeah.
the person gets huge, you want to be like, oh yeah, I knew about him before, and like,
you got his
and they get
card.
to reap the benefits of that eventually.
Yeah.
But the prospect game is a very dangerous game to play because prospects are prospects for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, you just never know. But if you hit big, then you hit big. Like the Shohei Ohtani phase, you got anything with his picture on it, and it's huge value, huge value. But then but with these other companies, like the one that I represent is CGC, we're trying to make the values kind of creep up to where they should be to match this company, to make it more appealing to go grade somewhere else. So instead of waiting 4.5 months for PSA, whereas okay, this might be $350 from PSA, but I got to wait 4.5 months. But if I go through CGC, I get it back in 40 days, and it's worth 300.
Okay.
So it's like the values haven't creeped up to where they should be yet, but I'm hoping to be a part of something that makes those values come up by just giving them as much business as possible,
Okay.
and then it all comes down to them and how strict they are with the grading.
Gotcha. Now, does the grading follow trends too? Like average cards? Is there such a thing? Does anybody even
Well,
follow
yeah,
that?
that's more for the collector. So
Like the
there's
tens are now a little less versus more or whatever for the trend of the times. Like,
well the 10 is a 10, I guess, at any time. Whereas
be right.
someone like Kobe
Yeah.
and Jordan and Brady and all these linchpins of these sports, their stuff, you have to look at them like investment pieces
Right. Right.
because there's something where, barring some sort of outside scandal or whatever in their personal life, you guys have to remember there's people attached to these, and everything that they do affects the value of the picture on the
Oh,
card.
so cancel culture could literally
Yeah, I mean,
pull,
if you want to
put
get
into
into
that.
that,
We don't have to. I
no,
was
no,
just
no,
like,
but it's a very
as one of
important.
those outside anomalies, if they say something stupid but it has nothing to do with their athletic ability,
It
it
doesn't
could
matter
still have
sometimes.
it could
Yeah.
still have
Well, I mean,
an effect.
it's. I think it's relevant to talk about. So,
Yeah.
I know for baseball fans, they all know about the Wander Franco situation, where he was a Tampa Bay Ray, probably the only guy they were ever going to pay, and because they're a small market team, and he was their guy. Like
Yeah.
that was the one guy that they're going to hitch their wagon to, and they're going to build their organization around this 20-year-old phenom, which he was and
Yeah.
probably still is. But he's in the Dominican. He had a very young girlfriend, just put that way,
Oh, okay.
and created a whole bunch of issues for him. Whereas you're talking in before all this, his rookie cards were top of the market, and now
Yeah.
you're basically paperweights
Wow. Okay.
because nobody wants to be associated with somebody.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
So
Right.
the,
Yeah.
the value is driven down, and obviously Kobe was Kobe, and he was gonna be great no matter what. And obviously, what happened to him was not great either. But it kind of just
Right.
adds to the allure of
Yeah.
Kobe, which makes his cards highly sought after.
Okay. Wow. Like going. I don't know if this changes the subject, but you talked about AI and scandal, and we know that there's more and more technology in the household as far as like scanners, printers, those types of things. Is there like counterfeit cards? Are those coming into play? Is that happening more and more? Will it happen more and more?
It's going to continue to happen, and it's mostly the cards of the high ticket items. So
Yeah.
of course, you're gonna. I actually sometimes, like, again, a consigner will sell massive cards in bulk, and they don't necessarily know where they're coming from. And I ended up. I bought something that looked interesting, and I just wanted to buy it. It was super cheap, and I wanted to, like, all right, well, it's very suspicious, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna buy it anyway. And it happened to be fake. It was there. You can just sometimes just tell by the consistency of the card stock, and if they're flimsy, and they have they call it refractor finish, where it's the shininess
Yeah.
of this versus a base like this, and they're pretty easy to spot. But I think they're more popular with Pokemon because of the art. It's easier to reprint.
Oh, okay.
They're easier to make.
Yeah.
But and then not even just the counterfeiting. There's all the people that are stealing and from Target and Walmart and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's theft is always an issue, I guess, and yeah, I just wonder about that because you have these printers, I think, or even like a lamination machine. I remember when like a teacher would bring in something laminated, and I would think, wow, what did that? You know what I mean? Like that machine, and now they're so common. You can get laminators for like $20.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
even
this
with
is wild
the
to me.
technology that I use for the scanning of the cards, is you could theoretically do
Like
something
reprint it.
nefarious with it, yeah, if you wanted
Yeah.
to.
So now, you would take in, like, say, I find in somebody's attic, my attic, that we had all these cards.
We can look after.
Yeah, my attic's only as old as 2001, so you're not gonna find anything good.
Sorry.
But like, let's per se, I have a stack of cards. I give them to you, and you can tell me whether or not it's worth spending the money to have them graded.
Absolutely. If you follow my Facebook page, daily, what I try to do is, I guess it's more of like an informative thing because, like I said before, I've handled probably tens of thousands of cards, and I sort of know what I'm looking at to a degree.
Yeah.
Some of the older cards, the vintage, it's more of a specialty where I'm sort of educating myself as I'm going and just buying cheaper ones and seeing how they look, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, and people can render your
yeah,
services
sorry.
through
Um,
Facebook.com,
so yeah,
Roy's Cards One.
so um, what I do is I set up a little camera that's above my hands, and I will literally take out the cards when they're in this form. I'll take them out of the package, and I put them under like a magnifying glass, and I'll look for any sort of imperfections. And for most people, when they have collections, they want to grade them because they understand that they might increase the value of them, but they don't necessarily know what they're looking at. And part of the service I provide is I take the cards and I will go through them, and I'll let them know, because it's really only going to cost them $15 a card versus it would be almost 30 for somewhere else. But still, if you can't make that card worth at least $15, then why spend the money?
Okay.
If it's for the purposes of reselling. So I like,
Right.
for example, I was going through an order of like 14 cards or so this morning from one of my vendors. He's wanted me to send out some cards for him, and he has a lot of nice Drake May stuff, and unfortunately some of them just can't be sent out due to just poor quality. And I feel like part of the service I provide is saving that guy money.
Yeah.
I can't in good faith send out a card I know is,
It's just going to end up costing him money
if it's
for
if it's
creating
less than a
service.
9, you lost money.
Okay.
That's basically how it goes.
Yeah.
With newer cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something new I've been starting, but it's I definitely try to have little informative videos on my Facebook to kind of give people an idea of what to look for themselves,
Yeah.
in order to familiarize themselves, so they can do a little bit of assessment before they send them off to me.
Yeah.
And I'll do like cleaning with wax and microfiber pads, and it's pretty intensive.
Oh, wow.
Because they will get you for fingerprints.
I was
Pieces
just
of
going to
lint.
ask, are you like white gloved and
Oh yeah,
using
well,
tweezers
I
and
was
stuff
wearing. Yeah, I had them on because I don't want my gangly hands all over these cards.
like that?
But fingerprints are huge. I mean, you could have an absolutely perfect card, and if you were prepping it yourself, and you just left a big old fingerprint on it, they're gonna mark you for it, and you're gonna use, because you're wasting their time, because now they have to clean your card before they can grade it.
Oh, okay.
So they're probably gonna make them upset.
Yeah.
So, and they just move on. So I I guess I pride myself on making sure, I want to see the rate of 10s that I can get for people, and sort of use that as a way to get it going a little bit more.
Yeah.
And say if you come to me, like you get your 10s through me, I guess. So it's just trying to save people money, and making sure that when they do get their cards back, that they can sell them or have them be worth what they want them to be worth.
Yeah. Now, like my brother did a little bit of coin collecting when we were kids, nothing big, but he did end up investing in a couple of coins that were never touched by human hand. That was like, they were sealed, and that was like a thing that he bought them for. So when they aged, they would be an investment. Wonder what he did with all that. But is that like same as a card? Can you do that? Like it's bought and never being touched?
Well, I mean,
Is that a thing?
you can get them mostly pack pulled, and if you're opening the packs yourself, and I think a lot of what makes the business so huge is that you can go to Walmart and pick up one of those boxes and literally
Never
break out.
touch it. Yeah.
But you could also have a 6-figure card in one of those boxes at Walmart too.
Oh, okay.
Where, so you're pulling them out of there. I mean, you're the only person touching them, and they're going into the sleeves with very very minimal hands on them. It betters your chances for sure, but most things are going to be pulled from packs, either from boxes that they buy or packs that they buy.
Yeah. Huh. It's interesting. And now you, uh, so you are like, how often are you grading cards? Is this like
So
a couple times a
as
week?
far as the grading as a service is something that I honestly just started taking on customers last week. It was
Oh, wow.
being I guess associated and being given this certified dealer title.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
actually yet to submit with the newer company. It's all sort of an experimental thing to sort of judge their critique of their cards and how strict that they are, because as far as the PSA have gone, I probably have graded 300-400 of them.
Mm.
So I know kind of what to expect, but now I'm getting a different company and a different set of eyes.
Yeah.
So it's about just trying to make them the best I can before they go out.
Yeah. And that you said you started doing shows now too.
Yeah, so that's kind of the whole reason why I'm here. The the idea of COVID and where it sort of trapped people in their houses, and the love of collectibles and cards sort of came back, and I was part of that group where I had the nostalgia from my childhood and just wanting to get back into it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I always had avenues through social media to move, buy and sell, and because there's many other ways to sell your cards and buy cards rather than just your eBay.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people, they want the boxes because it's fun. It's the gamble. It's you never know what's going to be in them.
When you like the new box when they go.
Yeah, when they
You're talking
like
about
on
like
the
when you go
shelves
to
at
buy
Walmart,
it at Walmart.
they
Okay.
just they and it kind of like after the whole COVID thing sort of moved by, and they started repopulating the shelves, and I never really stopped doing the buying and selling. I just never really went to the store. And when you start going back to the store and you go to buy a couple boxes and these shelves are empty,
Hmm.
and it's just completely rummaged through. And then you have some that are even ripped open and people are stealing the packs out of them. And
Oh,
it's like you
jeez.
go there and there's never anything there. And I'm like, I have no problems. I can get stuff wherever I want to. But it's like clearly other people are interested in this
Yeah.
because the shelves wouldn't be empty. So I
Right.
was
Right.
like,
Right.
kind of just had a little brainstorming and thinking. I was like, well, why can't I just make the accessibility as easy for everybody else as it is for me? And then I think when you use that with in-person, sort of interpersonal communication,
Mm-hmm.
where you're sort of like bringing kind of like people out of their shell, and you're giving something, especially in this area where going to shows, you have to drive to Rhode Island and Massachusetts and the casino, and you gotta go to the casino. It's more commercialized. You gotta pay $25 to get in, and
Yeah.
it's like not everybody wants to do that. It,
Right.
it, it kind of when you commercialize like that, it gets away from kind of why most people do it. Is that the networking, the face-to-face communication, where you could sell me this card online and it could be fake, but if you sell it to me in person, I can look at it and I can go through it and I can say, okay, well, this is legitimate and looks really good. How much, like I'm willing to pay market value for it because I can see it. And I've been scammed online before. It's
Yeah.
not fun.
Right. Well, you said that you found counterfeit ones before.
Well, yeah, but you also have bad actors too. We're on these Facebook groups, and a lot of it's done through PayPal or Venmo, and you have goods and services. You have friends and family, and one's associated with a fee, one isn't. One has buyer protection, one doesn't. So it's
Okay.
like you typically the scammers will they'll take pictures of other people's cards. Somebody could just clip the cards out of this podcast and go sell them as their own,
Yeah.
and
Jeez.
and then if you don't, they call it coining, where like you'll put the card on the table and I'll write Adam Roy and then the date, and I'll take a picture with that in the picture, so you know that it shows you that I have it. It's my card.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually own
Yeah.
that card. And what
Yeah.
have so like the idea of having the shows, it just puts people in front of people, and
Yeah.
like being a former bartender and just the IPC thing is just sort of,
Yeah.
it's me where
This could bring back the sale of newspapers because you put the newspaper with the date. Take a picture with that.
who knows? Who knows? I'm just trying to give this area something to do. Really,
Yeah.
it's just I have this my passion, but it's more about just giving people an outlet and
Mhm.
giving people of this area something to do. And I just never I've been doing the online sales of cards since like 2022, but this card show thing has only been around since maybe June.
So you've been throwing shows. You've been
So
having
yeah, so the
events.
first two shows that I had the first one I had about 28 vendor tables
Oh,
It
wow.
was a pretty good mix
That's pretty good size.
of Pokemon and sports. The first one was pretty heavy on the sports because it was starting to get new. I really had very little expectations of anything, and this was at the Elks in Putnam,
Nice.
and the first show I sold 103 tickets, which from what I've been told is pretty good.
Yeah.
Just for an idea that I kind of just came up with, and it's just clear that there's support behind it, and
Mhm.
something that just definitely led me. And then the vendors have a chat full of like 40 different people that I'll post the days of the shows and in advance, and they'll let me know. And I have like a whole bunch of people, and there's a wait list of more people trying to get tables, and it's just trying to find space. So we did. First one was September 28th, and then the experimentation, I guess, is trying to figure out how frequent or infrequent they should happen, and how, and
Yeah,
just
sure.
playing
That's
that
probably
game.
tough. Yeah.
You're not really sure because it is a business. It does require customers and
And money up
you
front
know,
and
is it,
yeah, all that stuff.
and it's a smaller area, so you don't really want to price people out,
Yeah.
So the second show, November 9th, it was surprisingly the same. It was about 101 sold tickets, and this was just for adults. I don't charge kids, so it was $3 for adults, and kids are free under 12 years old and under.
Nice.
So probably with kids included, roughly about 120 to 125 people on for each of the two first shows.
Yeah.
That was at the Elks, and I found what seems to be a better opportunity to move it elsewhere, which is kind of gives me. There's a lot of the reasonings for coming on to talk to you guys is
Sure.
to sort of eliminate confusion, because I don't want to. It's one of those things you got to play with the location. You can't keep on moving around and
Oh, that's
confusing.
interesting. I would have thought you might want to move
I don't know.
from one
It's
side of
just
the
one of
counter.
those things where it's just I'm figuring it all out. It's a lot
Yeah.
of trial and error, and we're kind of running them at like 6 to 8 weeks at a time right now. So it is that good? I don't know. Like the coming up in a couple weeks in January 18th, that the Legion in Thompson will be doing the third show.
Okay.
New location, so it does give me a little bit of anxiety and
Yeah,
and trying not to confuse people.
New place. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And just trying to make it as like I'd rather people look at it as growing rather than changing.
Yeah.
Right. So
Does this place hold more people? Is that
it's
the
a little
idea?
bit more. So that was the I found that even though they would stay small, I did find that I could have a little bit room for growth. So I was constantly looking for ways to improve and make it bigger and better. And it's just
Yeah.
finding space in this area is really tough. And
So the Elks had 28 tables,
Mhm.
and now what was this?
The
So the first show was 28 tables. Then the second show,
30, 31,
okay, so you're still
small
growing.
increase, but that
Yeah.
was basically the cap of what I could fit in that room comfortably.
And Legion, what can you book there? And
I'm going to have 35 tables at the
Okay.
Legion. A little bit of a different setup. There's links to the map. I use a service where I created an interactive map for people that
oh, nice.
can go on and actually hover over the map of the room and go to the individual tables, and they can see the vendor, their name, their social medias, what they're selling, all that. So anybody who was interested, they could go and check the link out on the page, and they could see what we'd be offering. But for me, it's like an intricate setup of I guess the floor layout,
Yeah.
because it's about, I don't know, it's like the
flow.
TSA at the airport.
Yeah, you want the
You're
right
trying to,
traffic
like,
flow.
getting and having it strategic, where you're having certain vendors in certain areas and not having a top heavy in one side and having all sports on one. Or
Oh, so you spread it out.
so I try to have some strategy to how the room is set up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
but
for
this is
sure.
the first one at this new place, so I'm not really sure how people are going to like it. I think that, and the tough part of it is that I don't really know how it's going to look until I actually get the tables in the room. So that's all part of it. But
Yeah.
35 tables is pretty much the max I can do in that building.
Yeah.
I have signed up for 4 shows. Also, the schedule of the shows are going to be on Facebook as well. So I have 4 booked with them. So I hope to do them every 6 weeks throughout the summer, and then we go from there. If it continues to grow, then I potentially look for a bigger space, and
Yeah.
kind of just very little expectations and just kind of having fun with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. And if you're going at it with the attitude with, hey, we're trying this, and if it works for you, come sell your cards or come show your cards. And if it
Mm.
doesn't work for you, then let me know the feedback, and maybe when we try something new,
Mm.
you'll see that better.
I don't claim to be an
No, I get it.
expert or anything
Yeah,
like this. I'm trying to be very transparent with the vendors and try to be like, oh, I'm
yeah,
open to them, because they have to pay for their table. It's the only
yeah,
way that works. They want to be able to know that they're going to get some money back out of it.
yeah. I wonder, yeah, because you got to weigh the cost of the venue and the size of the venue, and there's schools with big gymnasiums. I wonder if they would rent that. I don't know if that or you know what I mean. Then you can't have alcohol. I don't know if you serve that kind of
So
thing because I
no,
know the Elks would have an open bar if you let them, but
I've decided in
or
a lot of
cash bar rather.
absolutely. So I've done a lot of polls and a lot of feedback questions from
Nice.
my vendors and
Yeah,
from my guests,
surveying.
and trying to find out, and not to say that the alcohol could be like a part of it, but I just don't think it really fits for the type of environment that
Gotcha.
I really wanted to make it a kid thing, like
Yeah,
a kid friendly
yeah, for
environment.
sure.
So, and then you have people with tens of thousands of dollars worth of cards and
You don't want them
stuff.
spilling drinks on it,
You don't want people getting drunk and whatever. So,
or even just a regular, NA beverage
yeah, you say,
hovering
yeah,
over the
same
cards. You're
thing.
right. You
Yeah,
don't want that. That's
you're
true. I didn't
ruining.
even
Yeah,
really
it's
think of
just it
that.
just
Yeah,
it doesn't really fit.
yeah.
But you're just trying to work out the kinks as we go along, and
Mm.
trying to just get as much feedback as I can to make it as best I can.
Yeah, I wonder what it would be like if you did like Wyndham County, one in Wyndham County, and then maybe jump down to New London County. I wonder if that would make a difference or if it would be.
So one thing I have noticed as part of like the strategy of the planning is you got to look at. I guess that we don't look at each other as competitors, but
Mm.
I'm not the only person that does this. But I just figured for me, it's this region that I feel like
Okay,
it's kind of
gotcha.
untapped,
Yeah,
right? So like, if you get over the line into Massachusetts, you have Dudley, Oxford, Boston, Worcester, and like those are larger shows where you're 50, 100, 150 tables.
yeah.
And then you come down to the casino and you have Foxwoods and Mohegan with 2 larger stores. They're
Hmm.
companies that own stores throughout the state,
Right.
which creates the revenue to be able to rent out a place like Mohegan Sun.
Yeah.
So in between that, you don't really have much until you get to like Hartford, and you don't really have much going on until you get to like Griswold, Plainfield, and maybe like Cranston, Rhode Island. It creates
Yeah.
sort of like a pocket where I feel like I don't want to like step on other people's toes. It's one of those,
Yeah.
again, it's just a lot of figuring things out as I go.
Right.
And these other people have these established shows, and then now I'm trying to do a show in their town, and it's like, you kind of want
Yeah.
to
See,
work
you
together. I'd
kind of
rather
work.
work together with
Right.
some of these other people rather than compete with them.
Now, do you set up at different shows?
Um, what's funny about me is the appeal of being a vendor was never really there for me. Like
Okay.
it just, because I have the ability and the access to sell online. So
Okay.
like, if I really wanted to like go out there and like be personal and stuff, I guess I could do that. And I think a part of going forward, I might offer the bulk submissions of the grading, like the cards.
Yeah.
Something I could do is I could go to somebody else's show and I could accept cards for their customers,
Okay.
and that could be something I would probably get a table at their place to do. But like to sell my cards, maybe when I retire from the state, I might do something like that. But I like the idea of seeing other people's stuff,
Okay.
because with me, I have, it's not a huge collection. Like
And it's
I
kind
don't
of
have a
your
single card
collection.
worth over $1,000.
Okay.
Where these things are the things that I sell, but then you have 40 other people in the room that they got a house on the table.
Yeah.
Where like I like seeing that, and
Yeah.
being a personable person, I like to bounce around and kind of have the customer vibe.
Yeah.
Like I'm sort of like a guest, but ran the way that I want it run.
Right.
So it's my own, it's
Yeah.
my show because I don't want to have to drive.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd bring the shows to me.
Makes sense. And you kind of establishing a territory. Not that you're that territorial, but it's just like, people will start to know who you are and when
Well,
you're doing your shows
you
and
don't want to put a
where they can go,
yeah. I guess if you
to
don't want to
see
put your
you and
coffee
your
shop
shows.
next to another Dunkin' or something like that, so you kind of want to move around a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But it's interesting and it's kind of a neat thing to see because it's always interesting watching humans in the way they interact with whatever it is, a show, a podcast, any of that stuff. I love people watching.
Well, I
So.
work in prison, so
Oh, do you? Okay.
that's kind of what I do for a
So
living.
you watch people on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but it's about just kind of giving other people something else to do,
Yeah.
and it's sharing my passion with me. That's all.
Yeah. Nice. I gotta ask that I really don't know a whole lot about. Like, is this like a rare card? Bob
Not necessarily.
Gibson?
Bob Gibson's a Hall of Famer. This is the type of card that people would be collecting as part of a set. I mean, this I don't know, it's like $40.
Oh, okay.
And when it comes to the vintage cards like this, and they say vintage is basically anything 80, 81 and earlier,
Oh, wow.
or something around there.
So they have a year. It's not just
Well,
25 years
it's
old.
like an era
Okay.
of cards where they consider it vintage. But with these, it's more so you're not looking for tens with these because you're just never going to get them. All these were cut when they're cut like this. They're all off centered. So you would accept this is more for like a collector to have these. They would settle for like a 5 or a 6, and that would still elevate the value of this. But
Yeah.
it's more important to the person who ends up buying it. It's not going to make it.
Yeah.
It's never going to be worth a ton of money.
When they're cut off center like that, that's not considered a defect.
No.
It's not like
well,
the cards you're talking
it's
about
kind
with
of the opposite because so many of them are off centered. So the ones that aren't are almost there.
the ones that
That's why
they actually
they're
got
rare.
centered. Okay.
So again, for example, with the Kobe, this one is you have to look at. You're talking down to the measurements of millimeters, where the borders on the cards, the top, the bottom, and the left to the right.
Oh,
You
wow.
just see here how one of them is it's all the way
Yeah,
over to
Kobe's
to
is
the
pretty
right,
much
and this
symmetrical.
is pretty, yeah. So when these older cards like this, you're never going to find anything that looks like this. And then if you just happen to find something like that, then you've kind of, I guess, hit the lottery.
Hmm.
But that's why those ones are worth more because they don't exist.
Gotcha. And so when you were saying Tops earlier, that's a brand of card.
So you have
manufacturer.
the major companies, Tops, Panini, and those are basically the top two. Tops has many different lines. You have Tops, and then you'd have Tops Chrome, and then you'd have Tops Museum and Tops Triple Thread. Like, there's all sets within the Tops brand, and then that's a part of, I guess, the overpopulation is there's just they're just printing things to sell them. There's just so much, and it's a lot of overload too.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
I feel like baseball cards are the most of like there's baseball, basketball, soccer, but it seems like baseball cards are like you know what I mean? Like when everyone says I collect cards, you probably immediately think baseball.
I think the average the collector, I think it's a bigger sport. I think there's more stars. I believe and it would just be my guess.
For
Is why there's more teams or the same amount of teams, but there's more players per team, and their sets are bigger. And then with the you figure with a basketball team, you got maybe one or two good people on a given team. So,
Yeah, there's only 5 on a court at once.
Yeah.
Kind of thing makes a difference.
So I think with just the rarity, the level of rarities that you can find within baseball cards, it's just probably one of the earliest cards printed, one of the earliest collections of cards. So I don't know how it really built into being the top, but it does really seem like that.
Yeah.
Not so much in value. I think football In basketball, per card, I think the value is much higher,
Oh wow.
just
I
because of
thought.
the fact that there are so few stars.
Gotcha.
Because you're
And
buying.
there's few collectors.
You know,
Probably fewer collectors.
well, it's more so that you're fighting for less quality players. You still have your rookies and your Hall of Famers, but if you have 6 or 7 All Stars on your baseball team versus say like you have one superstar
Right.
on your basketball team,
Right.
he's the only person that's going to be really valuable in cards on that team.
Yeah.
So it just raises the value, I think, of your Jordan, your Steph Curry, your LeBron, Victor Wembanyama, all those, the newer guys, those things, everything they touch is gold.
So what would be worth more, 5 Michael Jordan cards or a card of each of those players when the Bulls won 6?
That would be dependent on the
Like
collector.
if you had Pittman, Rodman, Grant, everybody on that team or
I
whatever.
mean, that's the part of selling the cards online is you're finding the people with certain niches. It's like I don't know. Somebody could be looking for that, and then
Right,
unless you
right.
put it together, you have no idea. Unless
Yeah, you
somebody
gotta.
comes to you
Okay.
and says, "Hey, do you have X, Y, and Z?" and you could take a look and see if you have that. But like, say, you get messages every once in a while. I'll have one card on my eBay of like a particular set that they're looking for. They'll be like, "Hey, I want that one, but do you have any others of
Oh
that one?" So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
sort of
Depending on what they're trying to
so
make a set of.
but it to me they're all just cards, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know what most people are looking for, but it just all depends on. It comes down to the buyer. It's
Yeah.
worth what somebody will pay for it.
Right. Like every market.
It's like every,
It's so funny how
yeah,
it all comes
it's
back.
literally like
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah. What's the what's I don't know, like the wildest collection you've ever seen in all the time you've
Uh,
been in this?
so personally, like again, got one of my vendors, his name's Chris. We won't give any more information like about him, but he has the craziest collection of stuff that I've ever seen. So when I giggled with the one of one conversation again, where he it sort of is like he's gotten bored with regular cards, so he decides to collect just one of ones. Yeah. So like
And
for example, Topps Chrome, Topps Chrome baseball is probably like as far as like people who thoroughly collect baseball, that's the prettiest, most eye appealing line in a lot of people's opinion of cards in just about every year. So of Topps Chrome, you'll have what they call a super refractor, or which is the one of one of a particular player. Like you have for these, they're numbered in all sorts of varieties, right? So this one's numbered to 50. Then some of them will go down to be numbered by 25, and then they'll go down to be numbered by 10. And then the one of one, these are all regular refractors. This is a rose gold refractor. The super refractor is the one of one, and Chris likes to collect the super refractors of all his favorite players growing up. So Albert Pujols, and that's just he's a baseball guy, but he also has a bunch of John Cena. Wrestling is pretty big
oh,
too.
okay. I was like, John Cena,
So
actor. It's really
former
wrestling.
wrestler, former.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But his collection, I won't even attempt to put a number on it, but it is jaw dropping, really.
That's wild. So you probably already went over this. One of one is when they've printed just one of them and sold it in a pack,
Yeah, they're
and then that was
randomly
it.
inserted. They're randomly
And
inserted.
that's
So
it. They don't print anymore.
well, so for example, like the Topps finest, Jeremy Pena, for example, they will have his one of one of Topps finest, and but he'd also probably have a one of one of Topps Chrome as well, and getting into how
Oh,
many
so
there
like
are
if
of them.
you,
So they're very valuable and still very rare when it comes to like serial numbered baseball cards.
hmm,
But then you get into football, and you have the downtowns and the kabooms, and they're all sorts of like weird, crazy animation cards, and you're really starting to get far away from what they originally were supposed to be, but they've made them in short print runs, so they've only printed so many of them, but they're not serial numbered. but they're coming to find out like we people thought that they were rare, but I guess Panini got a hold of people thinking that they were rare too, so they why not print 50,000 of them? You know, so people keep on buying them. People are chasing them. People are looking for these cards because supposedly they're rare. And then you can go on the websites of one of these companies, and they have a population report of all the cards that are graded. So obviously, if people want to grade to elevate the value, so then they send the cards out, and the companies will keep a log of all the
So
cards.
you can see how many
so you
people
know
have
how
sent
many.
out.
So
Like,
then you realize, okay, this was supposed to be rare.
but
There's like
20,000
five.
people have sent it to grading.
Yeah, and 5,000 of them are PSA 10. So how rare is it?
Right, right.
You know, but there's just the mass overpopulation and the emphasis, and a bigger part of that is a platform called Whatnot. I'm not sure if you're aware
I
of
don't
Whatnot.
know what not is.
So it's a live auction. It's basically eBay auctions but live, and you can bid on things live. So what I was doing before, I would buy a case of cards from a distributor where it'd have 12 boxes of a particular card in the box. You buy the case and you try to sell the entire case. So you would take out of the 12 boxes, you'd break it up, and maybe you would do one box break of like 4 boxes, and you'd figure out your margins or whatever, and you'd do something like random teams. Put a little spin wheel up on the screen. People, I could show you after. It's wild. It's they say it's not gambling,
But it's
1,000% gambling. But so you could. So, like for example, when it comes to baseball, if somebody's selling baseball boxes of 2024, they're looking for the Pirates because they want Paul Skeens. So, like me as the seller, I'm going to break down that case into teams, and I'm going to sell them by the team. You put the random team up on the wheel. People will bid when it's an open wheel. It's just open season, so you bid, and then when
So
the time,
like Red Sox could come up on there.
so you bid
And now
first.
people are just
You bid
oh,
first.
you bid
Yeah,
first.
that's why it's all it's
Oh,
crazy. It's
geez,
crazy.
that is gambling.
Oh, yeah. So
Hard.
you bid first, and then I'll just hit the spin the wheel, and then whatever the wheel comes up on, that's your team. So then after we fill all those teams, you're going to get every card from the Red Sox in that entire break. All 4 boxes.
Oh, when you
You're going to
break it
get all
open.
the Red Sox cards.
Okay.
But then you could just not get any. And
Right,
it just
depends on
is
what's
what
in
it
the
is.
box,
You're
yeah.
looking for certain people, certain cards, and you're not always going to hit them.
Well, that's wild how you don't even get to pick your team. The wheel. picks
Well,
your
there's
team.
different setups. People all
Yeah.
have their own their business models. You can do a pick your team setup, but if people come in and buy the best team first, good luck trying to get rid of the rest of them. It makes because you have to tier your pricing.
Yeah.
So for like the Pirates, you'd make them 4 times more expensive than the worst team because they're looking for Paul Skeens, whereas the worst team doesn't have anybody to chase for. So you have to hope that you're getting the best case scenarios in that random format is that best team to come up last. It's just all chance.
Yeah.
I have no say over it. But if you have people where the new thing in the NBA is Cooper Flag, rookie for the Dallas Mavericks. He's 19 years old, I think. Just an incredible player.
Yeah.
So obviously that makes the Mavericks highly sought after in all these breaks. And in the dream scenario for the seller, you sell all 29 teams first, and just happens to be the Mavericks last.
Wow.
It's open season, and that bid will go wherever it goes.
And you can't just do it that way. Like, all right, I'm going to start with lowest ranked team.
You could,
But
you
yeah, I
could,
guess
but
people would just wait
you don't
for
make,
you to get
if
to
you,
the other one. Yeah.
Why cap your price
Right, right, right.
when you could run an auction instead?
Yeah.
And make so something. I feel like to me, I only need to make $15 for this team. But what happens if it's the last team and if that ends up going for $45? If I sold it for 15, I just lost out on whatever. If I just let people do their thing,
Right. Yeah.
you know, it's weird. It's the gambler.
Yeah.
You're not preying on the gambler, but you're tapping into the gambler.
There's so many of these like gambling games that or sales things with gambling that makes it so complex. You know, you almost
Sports
can't.
gambling.
Yeah, sports gambling is so complex. Like
You have
all the
players that
different
are,
ways that they'll gamble with it. It's
hmm
wild.
and you have professional athletes that are gambling on their own sport. You have
Yeah.
people that are making millions of dollars that are. There's two players from the Cleveland Guardians that are currently they're gonna pretty much lose their careers over a couple $1,000s.
Wow.
They just because they were betting on pitch because you could bet on anything on
Yeah.
FanDuel. The next pitch is going to be a ball. All right, it's plus 200. Right, you know the pitcher is your friend. It's going to be a ball.
Oh,
Right, you
geez.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
So they just follow the money.
Or just even knowing the drama behind the teams more. You know what I
Well,
mean?
when you
Like
have a
how they're feeling,
superstar,
what happened. Oh, this guy got sick last week, or we went out drinking with that guy the other
well,
night.
that's part
There's
of
no
the
way
good
he's gonna.
gamblers.
Yeah.
The professional gamblers don't know those things.
That's
They
crazy.
They have friends. They have friends all over that find out that information. But the gambling is a huge part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Well, interesting stuff, man. What you want to shout out your Facebook again? So people
So
can
yeah,
reach
just
you.
facebook.com/RoyceCards1. All the information that I'm going to have for the shows is going to be there. I try to sort of cross post everything to Instagram and TikTok, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
So my main cog is Facebook. I really want to just build that one and have all the information. I try to be as informative to people, and I try to give as much room for feedback because I'm accepting as much feedback as possible. I want it to be something that people want rather than just what I want.
Right. Nice. And you know your next event coming up?
Yep,
January.
January 18th at the Legion in Thompson. It's to be $3 to get in. Kids 12 and under will be free.
Yeah. What time you starting?
9 a.m. Doors will open. I will be on site accepting bulk submissions for CGC grading as well.
Nice.
I know it came up on the polling and the feedback where there won't be any food or alcohol. We made a decision on that
Yeah.
it's just not something that I think the masses really care for.
Yeah.
It's not something that they're going there for.
Yeah. 9 o'clock. You have plenty of time to eat beforehand.
Yeah, so it was something I wanted to do extra to be able to provide extra to make it different, but no food, no alcohol. I mean, there's a bar downstairs for people that will be separate from the show. You're more than welcome to come to the show, then go down to the bar after.
Yeah.
But there's just be none of that allowed or on the floor there. But 35 tables, a lot of Pokemon, a lot of sports, some of the other collectibles. Really trying to have a lot of that other stuff going forward.
Yeah. What kind of memorabilia does it like? Is it sports memorabilia?
Yeah, a lot of signed helmets, signed jerseys, signed baseballs, footballs,
Yeah.
basically autographs of anything or signed pictures. A couple of our vendors have donated a lot of stuff for the giveaways. Also do forgot about the free raffles every hour.
Oh, nice.
So you're going to be eligible with just entry ticket to be eligible for a
Door
random
prize.
giveaway.
Yeah.
So there's a door prize as well as a free giveaways every hour.
Wow. Nice.
So a lot of the vendors are donating a lot of stuff to give away to people. So I feel like we bring a lot of value.
That's
for
awesome.
what you pay to get in.
Yeah. And then like a memorabilia, do you have like comic book vendors and like does it kind of get into like a Comic-Con type of thing?
It could.
sometimes?
I honestly I'm more than willing to allow this to go wherever it goes. Like I'm not hard headed in a sense where it's like I don't want this because it's not what I like. I want this to be something for everybody.
Nice.
Where I have endless people trying to sell sports cards. If you guys or if anybody watching knows anybody who sort of specializes in mostly like Magic in One Piece and comic books and in magazines, older magazines, if there's anybody out there who wants those things to be available for sale and they want to set up a table, so please contact me. That we're really looking to add a more round experience.
Nice. Well, I thank you for coming out and sharing all this with us. It's a totally new world to me, and it'll be awesome to watch you grow and see where it goes. That'd be cool.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And before I go, I just want to shout out Kyle, being the coach of my daughter's soccer team.
Hey,
Great
Kyle's-
season. I
Kyle's
appreciate all
awesome. Yeah, so for anybody interested, they can go to facebook.com, Roy's Cards with the numeral one, and contact him and see where his events are. And if you need any of his services, you can contact him through that. Thanks for watching. The Community Workbench families are promoting the Be the One campaign. It was started by the American Legion in efforts to stop veteran suicide. If you know a veteran, call them, be the one to check in on them. We also extend that over to the first responder world. Definitely check in on any of the first responders in your world. And for any details, you can go to betheone.org or you can go to the Facebook Quiet Corner peer support group. They have many avenues to help navigate the world of PTSD. Uh, Other than that, join us again next Monday, January 12th, when we interview the guys from Stone Light Productions. They do real estate photography, wedding and event photography, and cinematography. If you've seen any of my reels or my photos from my listings, that's who I use. Great guys. Can't wait to hear from them. As always, buy local, hire local, dine local, volunteer local, donate local, go to a Roy's Cards show locally. Have great days.
Thank you.